Hello, everyone. You are listening to Your Palm Beach Guide with the Palm Beach Chamber of Commerce, and my name is Kiana Rivera. I'm the Vice President of Membership here at the Chamber, and today our guest is Christine Sylvain, the founder and Chief Executive Officer of Path to College Fellowships. So, again, we are going to read her bio real quick, and then we'll jump right in. But Path to College Fellowship, whose mission is to secure the acceptance of as many high-achieving, low-income students into top-tier universities as possible. So this is an incredible mission, not only because I've been able to see it firsthand, just the amount of growth that you've had, but also just the passion behind this business. So Christine's vision is to answer and address one of society's most urgent educational inequities, access to higher education. At her core, Christine loves the art of storytelling in any medium, especially at the intersection between history, politics, and literature. She has a Master of Arts in Journalism from New York University and a Bachelor of Arts cum laude in Political Science from the Harriet L. Wilkes University and a Bachelor of Arts cum laude in Political Science from the Harriet L. Wilkes Honors College at Florida Atlantic University. Christine began her career as an associate producer of documentaries for broadcasters such as PBS and HBO. She worked on Hecho a Mano, correct?
Yes, Hecho a Mano.
Hecho a Mano, a film that won an Emmy in the cultural and historical documentary category. Christine first realized her passion for educating and mentoring adolescents through her experience leading the Journalism Academy for a local Chartle high school before working at an alternate prep school in a multitude of subjects, including college advising and SAT prep. She brings wide experience in high-level operational and program management, as well as expertise in supervising budgets, spearheading policy and procedure development and implementation, forging solid relationships, and overseeing top-performing teams. Most importantly, she has a deep understanding of some of the systematic challenges holding our best and brightest back from achieving the highest levels of their academic potential. Path to College is the way beyond these obstacles for the most overlooked and most over-deserving students. And then a little bit about Path to College. Path to College Fellowship is a local 501c3 nonprofit organization that fearlessly clears the path for overlooked students to get into the best colleges with the best scholarships. We envision a world where genius, leadership, and excellence are cultivated. Path to College raises the bar for low-income, high-achieving Palm Beach County students by expanding minds and igniting potential. So, Christine, thank you so much for being here.
It is my absolute pleasure. How are you, Kiana?
I am so good. I cannot believe this. I've had the pleasure of knowing you now for the last couple years, and just seeing you and all of the incredible work that you do in our community, and you have the best passion behind it. So I just want to commend you for that.
Thank you. It takes passion, certainly.
Oh my goodness. Well, I want to start all the way at the beginning.
Sure.
From when you were right out of high school and you're just trying to figure out, what you wanted to do with your life. And just especially, I know we covered a little bit in your bio of your educational background.
Sure.
But did you fall into this space, or is this something that you've always envisioned yourself doing?
When I look back, it's really obvious to me that I was guided into this work, that my experiences career-wise and personally were really setting me up to be this person who has this passion to drive this work. Starting at the beginning, starting in high school, first thing you need to know about me is that I'm the daughter of an immigrant. So
oh my goodness.
My dad came here from Haiti. He married an American woman, but he had that American dream story of starting with very little and working very hard to give his family a great life. And he did just that.
Right.
Came here, worked hard, went to college, became an engineer, was very successful. And so he used to design simulators for our military to train on.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, take your kid to work day. I would sit in a helicopter simulator that my dad helped design. So here's this incredible person who's sacrificed a ton, who's just such a hard worker, such an intellect, doing really interesting and exceptional work. Fast forward a bit, when I was 15, his industry shifted, as the tech industry constantly does, and he was laid off, as happens in big business with 1,000 other people.
Right.
And we had a period where he was unemployed, and he was kind of inventing himself. And he ended up doing that and working his way right back up in cybersecurity, working for a government contractor, Harris Corporation. But during that time when I was 15, our family went through a period of financial stress.
Right.
So I was a very privileged kid up until this point, and I was always educationally privileged. privileged.
Right.
And one of the main messages and lessons that my dad always taught me was that education is the most powerful thing that you can cultivate in yourself, and no one can take it away from you. And it's really the best leverage tool that you can use to get ahead in this world, which I have found to be true. So here I am graduating from high school. I skipped 11th grade.
Because you were just so smart?
Sort of a nerdy type.
What in the world?
Yeah, I'm just a nerd. I don't know what to tell you.
Jeez.
Just very nerdy. I was always academically, just it wasn't hard for me. But I did move around a lot, which was hard for me socially.
Oh, got it.
So I went to 4 different high schools in 3 years.
Oh, my.
And because of the stress of moving, I just really wilted as, just as a teenager. I just didn't have the support systems, and my father was looking for work, and we just moved a lot, and it was a stressful time. And so when it came time to graduate, I had a very high GPA, very high SAT score, but I thought to myself, oh, I just won't go to college. Isn't that wild? Because I'm just going to work. And I was running an office at a water filtration firm. And I thought I was like, really, I had made it. I was making $12 an hour, and I was 17, and I just thought, wow, look at me. I have a paycheck, and isn't this great? And even my boss at the time was like, oh, you have a great career here. You don't need to go to college. And so it was really my brother who sat me down and was like, absolutely not.
Oh, my
not
goodness.
You, Christine, you are going to college. You are the smart one. Don't play with your future, apply. And so I applied to the Harriet L. Wilkes Honors College at FAU, got a scholarship.
So you grew up here? Is that
I
what
grew
I'm
up,
hearing?
yeah, I mean, I moved around a lot.
Right.
I was born in New York. I grew up in Tampa, Orlando, and moved to West Palm at 15.
But still pretty much Florida, honestly.
This is my home, 100%. I love it here. But I definitely moved around a lot growing up, always chasing work for my dad. So I did apply. I got the Bright Future Scholarship. I went for free. And it really took that submission of the application to get my foot in the door, and college changed my life.
Wow.
I got a bachelor's degree. I did a study abroad in Germany.
What was that like?
It was amazing. It's eye-opening to live in a different culture, immerse yourself. I learned the language conversationally at the time. It's since really gone away. But it was an amazing experience, and something I hope for every young person to be able to do.
Jeez.
Just really experience the world to its fullest. And I was able to do that because I was in college and because I had a full ride. And so I graduated thinking I'm going to be a lawyer. And there's a joke in immigrant families.
Oh my gosh, a lawyer.
There's a joke. I was pegged the lawyer because I'm a communications person. Some people might have said I'm argumentative. I wouldn't say that, but just someone who really always has to like lay out reasoning behind what I'm doing and what I want. And so
I think that's very normal, by the way. Yeah. Okay. It's not argumentative.
There's different personality profiles, and mine is like the communicator, right? And so in my family, it was like, you should be a lawyer. And so I got into law school. I got into George Washington. I got into Northeastern law. I got into UF law, all these amazing law schools. Oh my gosh.
You're just a genius is what I hear.
Well, I'm just a nerdy, hardworking type. Very oriented to school,
right?
Which some people are and some people aren't, and I don't think it determines your potential or your intellect. It's just where it's easily applicable for you to excel. So, it's not a big deal. The thing is, I didn't go to law school. I decided not to. I did an internship and just thought, this is not quite for me.
Wow.
So the joke in immigrant families is that you're either a doctor, lawyer, engineer, or you're disgrace to the family. That's the joke. Because immigrant families, you come to this country, there's a lot of sacrifices that have been made. And so there is this strong culture of you need to work hard, you need to do well, period. And unfortunately, that often gets categorized as only doctors, lawyers, and engineers are successful, and that there's no other pathways to success.
Right.
But in business, we know if you can create something that people need and be an entrepreneur, you can be successful, and that there are many industries that are growing and changing. And so I, took a chance and made my father cry and decided not to go to law school and segued over into journalism. Went to NYU, studied print journalism during the financial crisis where it was really a struggling industry. And so I segued over into documentary filmmaking. A super cool industry. I still sort of miss it. But I had my first child right as I was starting my career, which was such a blessing for me. But it shifted my perspective. So after working as a film producer for a little while, I decided to teach really on a whim. And just so that I could be home afternoons and summers with my daughter. And it opened my eyes to the disparities in education and opportunity and preparation. I started working in Riviera Beach. I was thrown into a classroom, and it's very easy.
Yeah, lower ed or higher ed?
It was high school.
High school, okay.
It's very easy to get a job in education.
Wow.
Like the doors are wide open. I was lucky I had an amazing mentor who taught me how to teach, but there are just so many challenges within that system that hedge against the amazing potential of these young, talented, and ambitious students. And so I witnessed them. I witnessed their stories, their humanity, and their true potential to change their communities. Riviera Beach, we know, excuse me, is a community that has a lot of challenges. And so here are these kids, they're college material, but they don't have the culture around them that says go to college. And so they have the grades and they just don't apply.
Because they don't feel like they can get in, you think?
They're overwhelmed by the process, which we all know, no matter your background, it's super overwhelming to apply to college. They don't have enough people pushing them. It's a lot of extra work on top of high school. There's a lot to it, you know, from the FAFSA with the federal government to application essays. There's just a lot.
There's a lot of steps.
There's a lot of steps. And if you don't do it right, it's like a waste of time. Right? And so there's not the culture and the support systems around them for them to be successful. And there's a lot of data on it, but low-income kids, even with, you know, high scores, are half as likely even to click submit. So you remember my grounding story is just because my family had this period of financial difficulty, I almost didn't go to college. And yet I did, and it changed my life. So I have this grounding story. I did this work. I saw this disparity up close. And then I started working at a private alternative prep school where it was just, you know, a different socioeconomic background. Every student has challenges, but because of the resources there was just way more help for these students to get the scholarships that they needed to go to college, to get into great schools, and thereby great careers, great earnings long term. And so I really see education as that driver of economic development. I want to be a part of doing good in the world. That is something that is just part of who I am. And when I looked around, it's just, you know, you have these communities that are just stuck in these poverty cycles. They're just stuck. And there's really well-meaning people doing great work, feeding and housing generations of people in a community that are just struggling. And what I see as the answer to all of that is education. And so in 2017, I designed Path to College, our flagship program that helps students who have the drive, but not the support to get into top tier schools. Because the theory was that there's exceptional talent in these communities that we are not utilizing, investing in. And so
or even seeing, really, seeing that
there's just
potential.
So many challenges. The challenges are like a fog, and there's like these beautiful gems in the mine. And these are the kids that great universities, Ivy Leagues, have full rides for. And it's just building that bridge so that they can get into Cornell and Notre Dame and Emory and Stanford and Northwestern and Duke and all these amazing schools, which are schools we've gotten kids into with full rides. And so they go to these schools and their lives immediately change the moment they step foot on a campus. So for me, it's exciting impact work, and I just love seeing kids who come from nothing, who through their own effort. It's not like anybody gives it to them. They just are given the opportunity to strive.
And the support.
And the love and support.
And the love and support that it takes advice to do that.
So that's the whole story.
Wow. No, that's incredible. I mean, thank you for sharing just a little bit of your background and where you started, because I think that provides perspective for everyone. You know, no matter what career we end up in, there's always that starting point for all of us. That's whether it's a choice we've made or a situation we've been put in that you just kind of ride with. So
absolutely.
Thank you again. You're listening to Your Palm Beach Guide with the Palm Beach Chamber of Commerce, and we are joined by our guest, Christine Sylvain, the founder and chief executive officer of Path to College. And Christine, I want to touch on, now that you mentioned it, you said 17 years ago you did Path to College? Seven. Okay, my bad. 7 years ago. So when you were teaching and you were in that space and you were experiencing firsthand what these students were lacking, is that what sparked the idea behind it?
Absolutely. So first and foremost is I would see students do well in my classroom, write essays that I thought were really a cut above, and show up every day, just really dreaming big about their futures. And I would get to know them and really connect and truly care about them. But on the flip side, many would go home and the lights wouldn't be on. There would be very little food in the fridge. They would be overwhelmed with watching younger siblings, younger cousins. They had to work. And, those are really serious challenges,
right?
But they also develop grit and resiliency in a person. And what I found is that, we say we serve high achieving students,
right?
But high achievement for me is something that doesn't always show up on a transcript. It doesn't always mean your grades are high.
Right.
Sometimes it means that you're juggling a lot on the outside of school. That's increasing your work ethic, increasing the tenacity to take on responsibility, that if we could just get some of those barriers out of the way to the future of your education, you would do very well in college.
Right.
And so that's what our program aspires to do. And we have students who they're trilingual. They've been translating medical and legal documents for their parents since they were 10 years old.
Right.
They've had to take public transportation, so they have a certain awareness of how the world works.
Right.
Just these little things that are hard to teach. And what they're not getting is the career exposure, the soft skill development, and the social and emotional support that often goes into someone being successful long term. It takes a mentor.
Right.
And so our program is designed to give every student in our flagship program a professional in the community who leans in to walking their path with them.
Right.
And giving that guidance and saying, hey, here are your goals. Like, let's break these down into small steps, small to-dos, so that you can really get there.
Well, and it's attainable, like you said.
Right.
I think that's great. And for those that don't know about Path to College, what's the process from start to finish for these kids? Are these kids finding you? Are you and your team out there making the way for it? I mean, what does that look like?
It's both. Some students see their friends in the program and they see the students, get the suits and get the internships and get the college tours, and they want in. And get the full rides, and they want in. And then we also go into Title I schools, so schools serving mostly low-income students living at the federal poverty line.
Right.
And we just pitch the program like, hey, if you want to be a part of the solution in your community, if you want to do good in your community and want to be successful, like, we are ready to invest in you.
Right.
They have to go through an application process.
Okay.
It's a rigorous program. We require them to do projects on top of their school.
Well, good. I think that's great.
Right. It's really about, for each of them, proving to themselves that they can do it. That they can do it, and that they are made for those top tier schools. And so it's confidence building. So we have them doing community impact projects. We have them doing persuasive speech contests. We just had EdFest last Friday.
Yes. We're going to touch on that, I promise.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a really great program that brings in the support of the community. So we have the one-on-one mentors. We have the people who come and interview at our speed interview event. We have career panels and all sorts of opportunities for students to join the community of success that's around them and really open and waiting to embrace them. Right? That's how Palm Beach is. People are, if you are working hard, if you have a great attitude, you're going to do well, but you have to open yourself up to people who are different than you. And to me, that's what makes the world a better place.
Right.
And that's one of the fun parts of doing a program that's about getting kids into college, is that we actually create cohesion and ties across community lines that make it a better place to live.
Right, 100%. Real quick, you're listening to Your Palm Beach Guide with the Palm Beach Chamber of Commerce, and our guest today is Christine Sylvain, the founder and chief executive officer at Path to College. Christine, you touched on EdFest Tell us.
Sure. So EdFest is a yearly signature event where we honor, elevate, and celebrate education in our community, and especially education pathways for those who are easy to overlook or underestimate. And so we hold a student speech contest. It's the Ed Talk speech contest.
That's amazing.
And this year we had 55 students submit
55.
pitches.
Wow.
We had an independent panel whittle that down to 20 semifinalists and then 5 finalists who get up on stage, and we call it a thought journey. So it's less about, pitching people. It's more about, hey, here's a topic that I want you to think differently about. So very much so styled in the spirit of a TED Talk, but 5 minutes, student-driven, right? And it's all about how well can you move the audience. The audience votes live for the winner, and the winner is awarded $1,000.
Oh, that's incredible.
It's wonderful. And so we do that, and we also do a community-wide nomination process for the Education Champion of the Year. We are not the only ones in this work trying to uplift marginalized students and help them secure, brighter, more secure futures. So we want to elevate their work as well. It takes a village, and we had incredible nominees this year from FAU, Dr. Kevin Allen, from Palm Beach State, Dr. Van Williams, multiple from the school district, Boladad, George, Brian Knowles, and Ed Tierney were all nominated, as well as Trish Zenzak from Speak Up for Kids.
That's
and
amazing.
These are community heroes.
Right.
And so an independent panel chooses the favorite. And Brian Knowles actually won this year for his work in the school district, creating curriculum and training teachers on positive, affirming curriculum. And then we also have a keynote speaker. This year we had Harold Pryor.
Wow.
But every year is different, and it's an inspiring event, truly.
And what would you say is the best way that people can start to get involved in this work?
Absolutely. So like any nonprofit, it's you can donate, you can volunteer,
right,
or you can attend events. And so we have a number of events that we do. We do a gala January 25th. It will be at the Kravis. And that's our gala. So if you are that type of person, that's a great way to support. If you want to volunteer, you can go to our website at pathtocollege.org/mentor, become a mentor. And we have different opportunities for mentoring. So
yeah, walk me through the process for a mentor.
Absolutely. So if you want to be a one-on-one mentor, we recruit people who are professionals who care about students, but really you don't need to know anything about college prep. You just need to be a good person in a professional job. And we match students either based on career, based on location, or different personality traits. And that mentor just develops a relationship with that student, encourages them, soundboards with them, gives them strategic advice, helps them talk through their options. It's actually a very simple thing to do. It just involves showing up consistently with positivity for a student. And it really increases their likelihood to take on responsibility, their likelihood of being successful. It's like this beautiful thing based around social connection.
Well, and two, do you see, I just know many people who mentor, and they say this is life-changing for them.
Life-changing, absolutely.
And just the relationships stem past college.
We've seen that as well. And that's what we want. We want to create broader circles of support. Right? You've probably heard your network is your net worth.
Right.
And so here are students, they're driven, but they're in communities where their village of support, like they're, the people that they know growing up may not be working as many professional jobs or have had as much success. So as much as we can interweave others into that village of support, it helps them with those connections, with the right advice that will help them do well. So that's our one-on-one mentoring opportunity. But we also have people who come and do spot mentoring.
Okay.
They can come do the speed interview event, and we do it usually the first week of December every year. We partner with Related. We shut down the square.
Yeah.
Actually, City Place now.
Yeah, City Place. Don't worry, City Place.
Rosemary Avenue, we shut it down. And we have like a football field of interview tables. And we partnered with Palm Beach Young Professionals last year, and they showed up. Good. But it's a very, everything we do for our students is elevated.
Yeah.
Right? And we bring out CEOs from commissioners to, C-suite executives.
Right.
Because they see this potential in students. So that's another opportunity to get involved amongst, board leadership and volunteer committees.
Right, all the things.
Yes, all the things.
All the things. So I think too, just in closing real quick, as someone who's, you've been through it, you know, you as a professional and as a woman, and you've been through the seasons of life and you've really come out on top, you know, I think. And what would you say to those people who might be struggling in a certain season of life where they might seem a little lost right now, but, you know, you've not only professionally but personally as well?
Sure. You're not a victim. You know, I really think that we are as powerful as we decide to be. And even in the midst of great challenges, which I've seen them and many successful people have, choosing to own your agency in any situation. You cannot control every circumstance except how you respond to those circumstances. So for me, it's getting up every day, ready to work, Mamba mentality, trying to improve all the time, whether it be health, you know, your social connections, your business. It's showing up every day for your best self and trying to be that person and really questioning, you know, this person that I dream of being, how would they live today? Okay, start doing it. So I think that's the first and foremost is do not wallow in self-pity. And secondly, it's just really surrounding yourself with people who are going to pour into you, the mentors and the people who see you and celebrate you, right? They say that we are a culmination of those we surround ourselves with. Right. So it's important to, you know, really think about who am I surrounding myself with? What am I reading? What am I ingesting? And how is that changing the way I look at the world? Right. And challenge yourself too. Wow. If you're comfortable, you're not growing. Right. Yep.
Christine, what a joy this was talking to you. I just think you're such a solid human. You know, you're just a solid person. And it's just been great to watch you from, you know, I'm not super involved in Path to College. I'm just kind of like on the outskirts really. And just to kind of watch you as someone in the industry and you just conduct yourself with such like grace and resilience. Thank you have that light and you really are great. So I just want to tell you that.
Yeah. I try to bring joy into the work. You do. And I think that's the only way to live. So I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thank
of course.
And
yeah.
love working with you and just being a part of the chamber.
Oh, the chamber's just there. It's there, but it's people like you and our members who really
it's the people
make this job worth it, you know.
The people.
So again, you're listening to Your Palm Beach Guide with the Palm Beach Chamber of Commerce, and our guest today is Christine Sylvain, the founder and chief executive officer of Path to College. If you want to get involved, if you want to learn more, if you want to connect with Christine, I'm happy to make an introduction. You know, her information is on our website, pathtocollege.org, and it's just a great space to be in. So please take the next step, get out there, and we hope you just have a great day. Thanks.
Thanks, Kiana.